We're going to be doing a bit of wiring in this video here. Wiring, need to be very careful with this. You need to make sure, like, you double check, triple check everything you wire up. Because if you don't wire stuff right, you can burn stuff out. It's so hard to find wiring issues when you do this. So right now I'm opening up my drag chain. I'm using what is this, 7x7 drag chain. Like maybe you 3D printed yours, maybe you ordered yours, but this is 7x7. So the inside square dimensions here are 7x7. Okay. Now I've got this other view. This is our close-up view here. Okay. So there's the heads and the tails of the drag chain, right? It's got a couple holes. Okay. So we're gonna be doing. So mine, I think I'm gonna need to use two of these because the gantry is so long. Okay. If you're doing a shorter one, you can probably get away with just using one, but mine's a little long, so I'm going to use two. Okay. So to open up the drag chain, you take a screwdriver, a flathead, right? And then you literally just pry it open. So first of all, I need to figure out how much I need. So I'm going to move my laser head all the way to the side here, right? And then, let's see, I guess I can't move it to the side just yet. Got to bring it over. This goes on top. Okay, now bring it back over. And then, sure, I'm going to call this right here, right next to the stepper motor, is about where it stops. So, in the close-up cam here, I'll try to show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to take my screwdriver here and pry this up. Okay, and then twist it open. And then bend it the rest of the way off. And now I have a shorter drag chain. Ta-da! All right. So if I'm going to be doing, no, yeah, I'll use this here. So see, I'm going to be having this head part, the part with the actual head, go against the frame here, all the way over here. Okay. And then I'm going to mount this part, this open loop right here, to the top. Okay. So I got to modify this a little bit first. So this is just plastic. So what I'm going to do here, so you go to the close-up cam, is I'm going to cut off these two wings. Okay. So literally, right, cut that off and cut this off. Okay. And then, since I'm drilling through the bottom, I need to drill through the top too. I need to get rid of the top here. Okay, so with the top, let's see if I can get some better light on this. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to cut a little piece in here. And then cut a little piece in here. Right? And now it doesn't have a top. But it still has that bottom piece in it. Okay, that bottom piece is actually going to mount over here to this little hole on this 3D printed piece. Okay, so I'm going to take my drill with a 3mm bit in it and go through it, the bottom here. Little like that. Now I've got this nice little hole there. All right. Okay. Sorry, the aux camera's a little delayed. Don't know what to do about that much. Okay, so now I got the hole in here. And I got this piece in here. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just remove this bottom piece here, okay? Now I can do that with my fingers. I can just put my finger in here and then pry it open. Okay? So I'll eventually mount this little piece here to the gantry. But this right here is where we're going to start putting wire in. Now, you can have up to 8 wires here. Each laser might need 4 wires a piece. And even if your laser takes 3 wires a piece, I'd still suggest having 4 wires down here. I've had some wires break inside the chain, and I just swapped a wire over and it started working. So, yeah, put 8 wires in here because you might actually need them. Okay? So, what I've done is I've got 8 spools of wire with different colors. And I taped around the head of it, okay? So, with that, taping them all together, and then I'm going to take my my clippers here and sort of give it a point, okay? There we go. It's got a point now. Wait for the side camera to... Okay, there we go. Now, for this, I'm going to do... For mine, I'm going to do about 2 arms lengths, okay? You might be longer, you might be shorter, depending on the size. I know this is going to be more than enough, but I know I'll also use these wires eventually. So, here I am, pulling tons of wires off my spools. I'll probably send my camera over there. There we go. My spools of wires. Cool. Okay. And so that's about 2 arms lengths. I'm going to clip mine. And we're coming back over here. Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I've got this bundle here. Okay, I've got it sort of at an angle right here. Okay. So, that angle is going to go towards this curve. So the point, I don't know, that's tough to explain. So it's angled like this here. Okay. See if we can see it. So angled up like that. And this thing rotates like this. So I'm going to put this in towards that rotation and just start pushing it through. Okay. So all 8 wires just sliding right through. And there they go. They popped out. Cool. Okay. Now I'm going to pull it through the entire wire bundle here. Make sure I keep the wires straight. Okay, keep pulling. They're trying to curl on each other, so I'm going to straighten those out. Okay. And just keep pulling. Don't want to pull too much, right? All right. So now that I've got a little bit hanging out here, I am going to put a wad of tape so it doesn't come through. Okay. So I'm going to tape it. And then I'm going to tape it kind of sloppy. You know what? Actually, I'll fold this over. I'll fold the wires over and then tape it. That way it won't come through. Cool. Because this is plenty of wire to work with. And now it won't actually pop through. Okay. So now that I got that done, I got a huge bundle of wire here to manage. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to flip this on its face. And that little hole needs to be mounted to this 3D print here. So I'm going to use an M3 by 10 to grab this. And washers on each side. There we go. Okay. So we have the M3 by 10, a washer. I'm going to bend that wire back and get this screw in there. There we go. Okay. And then push it through this hole. And then washer and nut. And then get that on there. Okay. Now that it's captured, now I'm going to line this drag chain up to the gantry here. Okay. And with this lined up to the gantry pretty well, now I can torque this down. There we go. That should be on there pretty well. Okay. A little bit of wobble. That's fine. Okay. Now, I need to mount that other little piece. This guy. This piece that I pulled off a second ago. As you can see in the close-up cam. And it's got 2 holes on the bottom. You don't need to use both holes. You can just use one. Okay. So, I've got this M3 slot nut. I'm going to run through here. Okay. Slid it in from the other side. And I'm going to do a M3 by 8. So M3 by 8 screw, washer. Okay. Put it on here. Then I'm going to do the middle-ish hole, not the hole at the end, but the middle-ish hole. Okay. And then get my aim right. There we go. And grab that screw. Okay. Kind of keep tightening it. Once it gets almost snug, I'm going to straighten it out. And it's still movable, right? So it's loose enough to actually move around, but it still holds there. So now I'm going to take my chain, my drag chain, pull my wires over, and snap it in. Okay, this is going to be a little bit tough. So feel free to struggle with this the way I struggle. Oh, never mind. It's easy. Hopefully it's easy for you too. But yeah, I just pushed it in and it snapped right on. Okay, then I'm going to push my head all the way over to the side. Okay, oh, I can see the drag chains getting caught up. Don't want that. Okay, and I'm going to slide this down until I have a nice curl down here. Okay, nice curl. And a little bit extra here. So if you see on the right side, as I slide this, it moves the curl over. I don't want much curl going on over here. Okay. And I can always adjust this later, and we'll talk about leaving extra. But that's good here. So with this drag chain now, the head now placed where it needs to be. Now I'm going to torque this down. Okay. Get it nice and tight on there. And now it's able to move the whole length. Perfect. Cool. Beautiful. Okay. Man, that's satisfying. Okay. So enough watching me play with this stuff. Next thing we need to do is run the wires behind here and include these wires into it. So your stepper motor also has wires. It might have a plug-in. It might be hardwired. I'm not sure what stepper motor you have. But I'm going to open all this up. Going to chop off all the zip ties. I'm going to show you in the close-up cam. It's got all these zip ties. Going to chop them off. As I hear it tinging across the room. There we go. Okay. And the next video, I'm going to show you how to actually pull these little guys out. And we got to remember where they were in the first place. But this big old head won't fit down the drag chain. So we're going to have to pull these wires out of the head carefully and then bundle them up with the rest of the wires. Okay, so I'm going to end this video explaining these tie downs. Okay, and then I'm going to put one tie down in here. Okay, I'll put one tie down in here. That's all it really needs up here. Okay, so when I say tie down, I mean these little things. So in the close-up cam, you can see it. They also come in black. All right, so that hole in the middle is where you actually screw into. So I gave a tip in a much earlier video on how to do drop-ins. This is going to be mostly drop-ins, okay? So go into the main cam here. Okay, so I got my M3x6. I have a washer. Okay, now about 2 threads down, I'm going to squeeze. I guess I'll do it on the close-up cam. I'm going to squeeze just a little bit with my pliers, and then I'm going to rotate the pliers up. There we go. And what that's going to do is distort the threads just a little bit. Okay, so I got the screw, the washer, and then I'll use a black tie down, right? Okay, and then I'll put a drop-in on here. Put the drop-in, and I'm going to keep screwing it in until it catches that distorted thread. Then I'm going to drop it in here. Okay, try to get out of the way of the close-up cam here. Here we go. Okay, so drop it in and twist it straight and just start tightening it until it's tied down. All right, so now we have one more thing to wire on here. So in the last video, we wired up the end stops. So instead of bringing this wire all the way across here, this extrusion has a hole down the middle, which I like to use for this. So I'm going to place these 2 wires together, and the hole on the back side of this extrusion, I'm just going to run it down the center. Okay. Actually, you know what? First, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do this, but I'm going to do this just to make sure. But I'm going to countersink it just to give it a softer edge. Okay. Then I line my purple and gray up. And I'll just push them through. And they should slide pretty nicely. There they are. Cool. All right. And then make sure, because we don't know exactly where this end stop is going to live just yet until we mount everything together, make sure to give it just a little bit of wiggle room in the wire here. So leave a little extra wire on the back side. Okay, so right here, leave just a little bit. And then we'll tie that down later. Okay. So what do we got here? We got 8 wires of different colors coming out the drag chain up here. Okay. We got 4 wires from the stepper motor, and we got 2 wires from the end stop. So what I'm going to do here is take the drag chain wires and the stepper motor wires, and I'm going to tie them together on one of these rails. I'm not going to go through both these, just through one of these holes on the tie down. And see, a little bit of play. Don't want to leave much here. We don't want this wire to catch on anything. Okay. And chop that off. All right. So now we have a drag chain wired up. Actually, this is a little loose for me. I'm going to tighten this up. Too much wiggle for me. I don't trust that. There we go. That's a little tighter. It can still move a little, and if I care enough, I'll just put a dab of super glue between them and make them one piece. Okay. But that's fine now. That makes me a little more confident. All right. So now we have a gantry fully wired up, ready to be mounted. Still doesn't have the lasers on it yet, and we'll get to that in a different video. But here's our gantry now. Wires all organized. Moves to the end and clicks. Don't move it too far this way because it can come off the rails, right? Everything just moves nicely. I'm excited about this. Okay. So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.